How's it going, guys? This is just a quick little follow-up video to a previous unboxing I did on Asus's DCUII GTX 670. And I actually managed to score a second one of these cards, so I decided to do some gaming benchmarks with single card and two-way SLI configurations. The results I found were actually pretty interesting as far as how the GPUs scale with different games. So I thought I'd share that with you, but first let's take a look at the hardware that I used. So I ran all of these tests inside of a Corsair 600T. Got a 2600K overclocked at 4400 megahertz. The motherboard I'm using is an Asus P8 Z68V Pro, and you guys can kind of take a look at the rest of the specs right there. One thing I wanted to point out is that both of these cards were running at stock clock frequencies the entire time, so no overclocking was done. So all the performance you're going to see from the following benchmarks are pretty much representative of what you'd see out of the box. But let's move on to the benchmarks. So starting off with SKYRIM, so you can see there 119 to 133 frames per second. Definitely not the most substantial increase in performance, and we did see a 7-degree increase in temperature, so didn't scale very well, but that's okay. With Borderlands 2, we saw a 15% increase, still not as great as I was expecting, but we only saw a 3-degree increase in temperature. And by the way, the temperatures that I'm giving you the temps of the hottest card, so the card that was actually mounted on top. Obviously, it's not going to be as cool as the bottom one because that bottom card is kind of blocking some of the airflow going through those fans. With HITMAN Absolution, you can see we've got 33.35% increase in performance, going from 62 to 83 frames per second. Unfortunately, this game did rank the lowest in thermals, so we saw a 10-degree increase in temperature there. But Far Cry 3 did an even better job than HITMAN at 72.36% performance increase, and we only saw a 7-degree increase in thermals. As you can see, guys, I've kind of organized these benchmarks to go from least scaling performance to most scaling performance, and the winner in my real-world gaming benchmark testing was Battlefield 3. It actually went from 76 to 142 frames per second with the two-way SLI. We saw an 87.58% increase in performance, and surprisingly, only a 6-degree change in thermals. So bravo, Battlefield 3, you are clearly optimized for dual card configurations. Now moving on to the synthetic benchmarks, we started with Metro 2033. As you can see here, it scaled pretty darn well. Went from 43 to 77 FPS, giving us basically an 80% increase overall. And we only saw a 7-degree increase in thermals. So moving on to Unigine Heaven 3.0, we got basically the same ballpark as we did with Metro 2033, except even a little bit better. So 87.79% increase in performance and 8-degree change in thermals. And lastly, our top performing synthetic benchmark was AVP with 91.5% increase in performance and only a 5-degree change in thermal, so that was pretty impressive. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Once again, this has been the Asus DCUII GTX 670, and hopefully you guys gained a little bit of insight as to how exactly this card performs in single and dual card configurations with the games that I've benchmarked today. So thank you all for watching, share this with your friends if it might interest them, and I'll see you all in the next video.